Our final award this evening is a very special one, as it was open to a public vote. And this will be presented by VSO's Chief Executive, Philip Goodwin, and Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal.
Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, the Impact Beyond Volunteering Award recognises the significant contribution that a volunteer makes after their placement is finished. This category was open to a public vote, and I'm delighted to announce that the winners are Susan Wanungi and Gladys Mithara.
The sessions, Gladys and Susan helped open up a useful peer-to-peer dialogue on violence in families, which has been invaluable in reducing stigma in the community.
The work Susan and Gladys did clearly struck a chord with the voters, and in particular the impact that they have had on hundreds of young people in their country affected by gender-based violence, and also the courage and determination they have demonstrated as survivors of gender-based violence themselves to support other survivors and create lasting solutions. Well done. Congratulations.
And many congratulations from me too. I think probably the first thing to say here is that there's a very good reason why you became involved in this particular project, in that you are both survivors of gender-based violence yourselves, aren't you? Tell us just a little about that, if you would. Gladys first. Just come a bit closer.
Yeah, so I grew up in a family where there was violence, like most of the times, but growing up, I always thought like it was a normal thing. So when I was, of age and I got into a relationship, I also experienced the same. And so after my volunteering, I felt like it was important for me to start my own journey of healing. And that was how this came along. And we had her and others as well talking about similar things.
And Susan, what had been your experience that moved you into this work?
I had a best friend. Mine is our best friends. I lost a best friend because of gender-based violence at the home. Right. We were friends since class 6. We started together all the way to Form 4, end of high school in Kenya. But a year later, I lost her simply because she grew up witnessing violence in the home, so she was afraid of her parents. She got pregnant, but because she was afraid of the father, she tried abortion and she ended up passing on. So that really got me, and I joined her in the gender-based violence programs to support other people who are affected by the same. Yeah, so that I don't experience maybe.
So with that very strong motivation and those experiences behind you, how did you actually go about then working with other girls and women finding themselves in this situation in both the slums in Nairobi and elsewhere in Kenya, when, as you've just said, in a way this is also normal? How did you make a breakthrough in dealing with people, perhaps a particular person you've worked with?
So basically what we were doing is setting up safe spaces where we would engage young people, both boys and girls, between the ages of 13 and 19, in schools, in churches, and in community spaces, other community spaces. And here they would come and basically sit down to weave stars that were symbolic of lighting up the darkness of violence in their lives.
Weaving stars?
Yes.
On cloth, paper?
Using plastic ribbons.
Okay.
Yes, and then they would engage in discussions about how violence has affected them, both directly and indirectly. And then apart from that, we'd have our volunteer facilitators training them on various aspects of gender-based violence, like gender stereotypes and discrimination, things to do with developing respectful relationships, Yeah, basically different things about gender-based violence and how they can take action to address the same and also support their friends.
And how do you think you can make that improvement in their situation? How do you think you can make that grow so that it helps a wider group of people? Where do you go next with this?
After the Star Waving project, we started the Teens Voices Against Violence. So this is whereby the teenagers come up with plays, poets, songs after going through our program so that they can reach out to the wider community and tell them about gender-based violence. So this is a way that is educating a larger number of people in the community and other teenagers.
And at some point along the way, you helped send a whole lot of stars to the Commonwealth Games in Australia. Just tell us about that briefly.
So in 2017, we managed to weave more than 10,000 stars. And out of those, 7,500 stars were sent to Australia, and they were displayed during the Commonwealth Games this year. As part of the 1 million stars to end violence.
Wonderful. Yeah. Susan, Gladys, thank you so much and many congratulations.